Hey there, Johnny Opinion Sports. Hit that like. If you enjoyed this video anytime, help me grow. But I was gonna make this Russell Wilson video last night, and I kind of had an early morning, so I decided to do it today. So this has no connection with the Daniel Jones injury stuff that we're just hearing at. So I'll touch on the Daniel Jones for a couple seconds, because right now there's pretty much not a whole lot known. When injury first popped up, we heard neck strain, and now we're hearing structural damage and all this other crazy stuff. And Jones is going to go see a specialist with somebody from the coaching staff. I don't know. I mean, I'm not one of the kind of people who like to do conspiracy stuff. I'm hearing some people, say maybe the Cowboys, this has been like structural damage since the Cowboys game, because there was reports that that Daniel Jones never had a concussion. So I've seen some people like that. I'm hearing some stuff that this injury came in the Buccaneers game, and then it was made worse in the Eagles game. So I'm not going to sit here and speculate a whole lot. All I can say is however you feel, whether you're a Daniel Jones supporter or you don't like him, this isn't the way you want to see somebody go out, if that's the route this heads. So rumors are running wild about Russell Wilson, though. He put out his 3 teams. It seems like every year, the last few years, a couple of years, he's done this. And supposedly Giants are one of the teams that Russ would waive his no trade clause for. I'm skeptical of this report in the first place. I'll say this right now, because he's just harps on O-line. It just don't add up to me. I think this would be a match made in hell. Because listen, when I think Russell Wilson, my mind instantly goes to offensive line, and he needs a good running game to be at his best. And let's just be honest about it. This Giants O-line is a disaster. So, I think that statement right there is kind of the deal breaker to me with Wilson. But I want to get a little bit more nuanced, a little bit more detail on what I think is best for Russell Wilson. And I also want to touch on, maybe I'll give my reasons about not signing, not trading for Russell Wilson, or maybe I'll just do I'll play the other side of it. What are the reasons for trading for Russell Wilson? And I'll also talk about how much I'd personally give up for him, because to me, that would be the most important thing that the Giants would, if the Giants would go through with this. But I want to give my opinion on Russell Wilson, the player, first. And right off the bat, I'll just say, I do think Russ was a much better player 5 years ago. So this would be 5 years ago, this would be a no-brainer, and I'm kind of teetering right now on it. Because I don't view Russ as a top 5 quarterback at the moment. Not like I used to. I think he could get back to that point. But I think it's kind of like the situation we hear with Daniel Jones. Everything has to be right. And I know people would laugh to hear Russell Wilson. But at this point in his career, he can't evade people like he used to. He needs an O-line. And when he's been at his best, the Seahawks have had a potent, successful power run scheme. So I'll just say, first of all, with him, number one, you just need a successful running attack, for Russ to be the top of his game. Because at the top of his game, he's throwing deep, and the defense is forced into playing that one high safety. He's at his best when one of the safeties is forced down into the box to stop the run. The teams that have been really successful with Russ have been, especially the last couple of years, as you saw it last year when the Giants beat them. They sit back in that too high, they don't allow nothing deep, cover 3, and they mix in deep coverages. You take away all the deep stuff. And we saw it last year. Russ, without the O-line and the running attack, kind of turns into average quarterback. I hate to say, because listen, Russ he'll hold on to the ball too long, and he will evade rushers, and when he does that, he looks deep. He doesn't look for that short stuff or intermediate, well, a little bit intermediate, but, and he runs them into sack. There's advanced stats suggest that Russell Wilson accounts for 20% of the sacks on the offensive line for him. So one in every 5 sacks, is on Russell Wilson. You're getting big surplus gains and chunks out of that as well, but there's a factor to that. The days of playing hero ball in the NFL are quickly going bye-bye. You're seeing a lot of these defenses nowadays sit in this deep stuff and take it away. And it's working. Look at Mahomes. But what aggravates me with Russell, because he'll run himself into sacks, and then he'll throw the offensive line in the bus. In years of Eli Manning, and now even Daniel Jones. I mean, we don't really have quarterbacks that do that over here. It just has a little bit of a different vibe to me. I know some of the fans don't care, the New Age fans, but I do think there's a little meanness to him. Me, you know, a little. I think there's a little Odell. Obviously, not that level, but I think. So what do we got now? Russ needs a good O-line, a good running attack. A lot of what Russ was doing successfully, don't work anymore. That's an issue unless you can force teams to play one high. And I think another thing we saw this year, the Seahawks changed their offensive system to the West Coast, and it's not working. It reminds me of when Eli adapted the McAdoo scheme after years and years and years of being with Gilbride, who ran that same kind of deep option stuff. So Eli wasn't great in the West Coast stuff, and it's the same with Russ. Just because they're always looking deep, they're not looking for that short stuff. Now, Russell has also come out and said he wants full control over a franchise, basically. He's already made statements in Seattle that he wants an offensive-minded coach. I'm not saying it's right or wrong to let Russ have power, in this decision-making. I'm just letting y'all know this is what he's demanding. And if he comes here, it'll just be what it is. He's also said he wants say in playbook and the entire offense, basically. Hey, I'm okay with that. But the one thing, I want my GM choosing my coach, not my quarterback. I'm pretty sure Russ came out last year before, was binging up Matt Nagy. So, hell no. I don't want a coach in here like a Matt Nagy just to make Russell Wilson happy. I want the best coach we can get in here. Matt Nagy, that's like Adam Gase to me. No. So, I'm good with the quarterback being involved with the playbook. You can't be running plays your quarterback don't like. But it does kind of seem like a little bit much to me, with all the amount of control he's talking, and I'm not sure how Merritt demands coming from a player, just to be honest with you. I don't think we've ever seen it. So, now the third thing, I think with Russ is he had a gruesome injury to his throwing hand, and he kind of came back quick, so I think a lot of it was kind of swept under the rug how bad that injury was. It's a fracture / dislocation to the joint, and then actually a tendon ruptured. So it's called a mallet finger. I actually had a similar injury when I was about 15 to my pinky, and it sucked. I'll tell you right now, it became a common occurrence for me to dislocate my pinky. Every time I wouldn't be thinking about it and open up a door to a truck or something, and pop my finger out, it sucked. And I'm pretty sure it's his middle finger, so that's going to be a tricky thing for Russell Wilson to have to deal with. The doctor who did the surgery on Russ put out a statement, worth a read. If you're really interested in Russ, it was something I would tell you might want to check out. He said it's the worst injury he ever saw to an NFL quarterback. With that specific injury, very interesting. It's a bit of a red flag to me, especially since I have a first-hand experience with the injury. And let's just be honest about this. Russ hasn't been playing well since the first half of last season. So even before the injury, and now this. So it's been tough for him. I'm giving all these things to show you that there isn't a no-brainer. There is ways. It could not work if we make a move for Russell Wilson. If the Giants had a top 5, top 10 O-line, I'd be interested in a move for Russ right now. I wouldn't have to think about it so much. But I think it's going to be a couple of years at a minimum until the Giants are, in a Super Bowl winning, Super Bowl roster type of deal. And I think Russell Wilson's career is winding down to a close. And I know Russell came out and said he wants to play another 10 years or something. I just don't think he's one of them quarterbacks. I don't think it's in the books for him. I just think the timing is a little off. The Giants are at a point where they're just starting to build up their offensive line and their offense in the future here, and Russell Wilson's coming to a close and winding down at the end of his career. Here's where I'll give the bonus for Russell Wilson. Maybe he knows exactly what he wants. He's a smart enough guy, Hall of Fame quarterback, to where if you give him what he needs, you can unlock some potential that we've never seen from him. And we see at Russell Wilson, at his ceiling, is a very good quarterback. He can't carry you single-handedly to a Super Bowl. He needs things. He's similar to Daniel Jones in the fact that they both need an offensive line. They both need a good running attack to be high-end quarterbacks. Obviously, though, we've seen Russell Wilson take that leap from good to great. We haven't seen that We haven't seen Daniel Jones take that leap yet. I mean, he's a young quarterback. He still could. But I'm just pointing out, at least if you give certain things to Russell Wilson, give him the O-line, give him the running attack, you force teams to play him a certain way, he will fuck you up. He will carve you up. And you know that as a fact. We don't know that with Daniel Jones yet. So, but here's the thing. I kind of like to counter that. It's kind of like, this dude's kind of, up there in age. I really think 3-4 years is about what you'll get good out of him. After that, I mean, he's going to be a complete pocket quarterback. He don't evade like he used to. I'm thinking like Eli Manning towards the end of his career. And, I mean, we got to rework a contract with him. Can we really be paying 20% of our cap to another Eli Manning at the end of a career? And then once that sets in, then you can't afford your offensive lineman anymore. Listen, it's a tricky situation. Last thing I want to talk about was the draft capital. And if the report is true, the Giants is one of the 3 teams he'll go to. That's a huge advantage for the Giants. I don't think you'll have to, because he's got a no trade clause. So, if he's only going to take offers from so many teams, he's kind of got the Seahawks by the balls. There's nothing he can do. And Giants have 2 first-round picks early in the draft. They probably could give, for the teams that are on Russ's list, the Giants could probably give them the best earliest pick. So maybe they could, if they like a quarterback, grab it. But I don't think you're getting that deal for Russ right now. That 3 first-rounders, 2 first-rounders, and a pile of picks. Right now for Russ, especially if this Daniel Jones injury stuff is bad, I'll give you a first. I'll give you one of them early first-rounders and maybe a second round next year. And if you want Daniel Jones, yeah, I'll throw Daniel Jones in there, but you're going to lose the size. So I'll give you a first-round pick on Daniel Jones, or I'll give you a first and a second rounder. I just feel like that's his value right now. And the Giants are in no place with their cap space to be giving away draft picks at the moment. That's the last thing they need. And I feel like if you're going to move on from Jones, this is the type of deal. I see a lot of Giants fans talking about Teddy Bridgewater or Jimmy Garoppolo. I view that as a sideways move. Because here's the thing. Them quarterbacks need things in place just like Daniel Jones succeed. Teddy Bridgewater ain't coming in here with the offensive line we got or anywhere near and performing any better than Daniel Jones. I guarantee that. I don't guarantee nothing on my channel. So I'm not moving on from Daniel Jones, at least for next year, until after that, to use him as a bridge quarterback to get to where you need to. But if something like this would come up and it's a real opportunity, I have to sit down and really think about it and work out a deal that works for both teams. And I really think it's headed that way with Seattle. It's either Russ or their coach. And I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson's had enough over there in Seattle and the way they do business. So listen, that's my take on it. It's kind of like a little everywhere, and because right now, with the way the Giants organization is, it kind of just is everywhere. I mean, this is a wild ride that's going down in flames, and it can go in any direction. So it sucks ass when it's your team having to go through this, but it is going to be interesting. And wild rumors, this is just the beginning of it. There's going to be all kinds of wild rumors. I'm sure we'll hear Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff soon. So buckle in, folks. That's it for me. I don't know. Just wanted to get a video out there and thought this was a semi-interesting conversation because it's a quarterback that I really love watching. I'm a fan of football, so I'm a fan of Russell Wilson. And just wanted to get my opinion out there. So stay safe, everybody. Like it up. Subscribe if you're new. And if you're still listening, I mean, why have you not subscribed? So peace.